just so you know, I did not prepare for these answers. These were just questions. You did send me the questions beforehand, but I literally did not prepare any of the answers. But these are common things that for me, building the company and continually growing it, these are questions I ask myself every day, because it's the questions that we ask ourselves that are going to show us where we go into the future, right? If we don't ask ourselves these tough questions, we're not challenging ourselves. We're not challenging ourselves, then we're not growing. The worst thing you can do is be comfortable.
That is correct.
Well, we are not right now. So we are doing a good job.
Welcome to the Nick Fong Podcast. As the broker and owner of Ronival Real Estate, Nick has spent nearly 20 years in Baja California Sur. And in this podcast, he'll be talking everything Baja, from food and culture to real estate and property management. And now, here's your host, Nick Fong.
All right, another podcast, and I invited our two sales directors, Sergio Benitez, sales director and marketing director.
Correct.
And Paty Estrada, sales and transaction director. I wanted you both on because I want to flip the script, literally flip the script, and let you guys ask the questions. So you prepared some questions today, and the floor is yours. I'm going to answer them.
Okay, well, first of all, I have been with the company for 4 years, working with you. I am a witness of the growth and expansion of the company. Truly believe that it is because of your efforts, your vision, passion, and the direction that you are taking us with you. So I also believe that we will continue to grow. The company will continue to grow. And one of the most essential elements are the agents to achieve these goals. So as our broker, our leader, and an experienced agent, we would like to hear your comments and advice for all our agents. That's why we prepare a lot of questions for you. So
so everyone can know, you originally started in the company 4 years ago as what position?
Your assistant.
So my assistant, and now sales and transaction director. So congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Huge growth.
An amazing experience. And well, I will start with the first one.
Okay.
What qualities and skills do you believe are essential for a successful real estate agent?
Okay. Successful sales agent. I think that most people would think you need to be a good salesperson. And that's true because we do sell real estate. But above and beyond selling real estate, I think we are in the service industry. We're serving both buyers and sellers in a transaction. So what skills are most important? I think skills that are super important are hardworking, organized, humble, willing to listen, willing to be flexible and to adjust, change your opinion on things. You might have an opinion that something should be sold, marketed, advertised, processed a certain way because you were selling a certain way, whether it's real estate, it's timeshare, used cars, medical equipment. You're used to a certain way of doing things, and you could have had great success in doing it. But the one thing that's consistent is that change is always going to happen. So we need to adjust and change. So I think being humble to that and never thinking that you have it right and that you have the right answer. You might have the right answer today, but tomorrow that might be the wrong answer, right? 20 years ago, 30 years ago, it was right to be advertising in the newspaper, right?
Yeah.
Now, everything is on the internet. The internet didn't exist 40 years ago. And so if we didn't change as a result of that, then we would be obsolete in what we do. So I think that's really important. I think also being responsible, and that goes in line with being humble, because when you're humble, you're also taking responsibility for when you do something wrong. And so when you do something wrong, you are humble enough and say, I recognize that and I'm going to change. And you're passionate about what you do so that you seek out the right answers the right way. And that's what I love about Ronival, is that we have this team atmosphere where you might be doing sales and marketing, you sales and transactions, but there's also the advertising, there's the call center, there's how do you do showings of an open house? You know, what's working in regards to that? So we have different teams and the different team leaders and sharing that information and that knowledge and the wins and the losses. I think sales and being a successful sales agent is an iterative process. You're constantly analyzing what worked, what didn't work, and making adjustments. And so that's a very long-winded answer. And it's not like, hey, it's 1 through 5, you need to do this. It's many things. And a lot of the things I didn't mention. But I think what's important is being around a network of people that inspire you to be a better person, to have experience that you don't necessarily have. And if you don't have that, to seek it out.
Yeah.
How's that? That's
good. Very good.
Good first
No,
answer?
I mean, really good.
And we see those characteristics in a lot of our top producers agents. So
Yeah.
that was one of the questions,
There-
but it answers the question.
So-
So I wanted to ask you, we've had some agents now that are struggling with their numbers in this year, 2023, in this ever-changing market. Some of them 60% less in their production than 2021 and 2022. What are your suggestions for these agents that are struggling with their numbers, with their production in this year?
Well, it's not just in 2023, it's in every year. It's going back to the basics. The tried and true basics of daily tasks that you do as a sales agent is going to make you successful in 2023 and always. So what do I mean by that? It means every day you need to prospect. Prospecting can be as simple as going to the grocery store and talking to people that are in the checkout line. It could be attending open houses where it may not even be your listing. It's going to team members listing and hosting an open house where people are coming through the door and you're practicing your showing of a property skills, answering questions, handling objections to a property. Those are really important things. And, you know, in Ronival, we're fortunate that we have a lot of leads and we have it very well organized in a CRM system, which allows our agents with the proper training and knowledge exchange to take those leads and on a daily basis prospect them. And so when I was selling real estate 15 or more years ago here in Cabo, it was every day. Every day, first thing from like 8 to 10 in the morning, and then again 6 to 8 at night, 4 hours a day, I was prospecting. So the agents that have continued to do that in 2023 are actually having a better year than in 2022. Because although the market is 30% off, there are still properties being sold. And the agents that are doing the things that got them success in 2021 and in 2022 is not getting them that success. It's that 60% less that some agents are feeling. Well, the market's only 30% off. So where's that 30% difference? It's going to those agents that are doing the daily work. And I would say that is above and beyond what agents need to be doing in 2023 and forever.
Prospecting.
That's correct.
Follow up.
And what do you do when you prospect? You have conversations, right?
Yeah.
And in the conversations, your clients are asking you questions and you're asking them questions. That's the conversation. It's communication. And what do you obtain and what do they obtain from that? They get information. They get more intelligent. The more intelligent we are, the better decisions we make, and the faster we can make decisions. And when we sell, it's all about educating. And the more educated both we and the consumer is, the faster business transacts.
Definitely. Paty?
So how do you see the real estate market in the next few years, and how can our agents adapt to any changes?
I think it goes back to the question I just asked. I see the first part of that question is, where do I see the market for the next couple of years? It's much what we see the market this year so far. So we're almost halfway through the year.
Yeah.
And I suspect that the next couple of years are going to be very similar, where properties are going to buy and sell all day long, every week, every month. From the start of history, when the first house was built, there was transactions, and there will always be transactions. It's just a matter of how many agents are in the market to partake in it, and how many each agent's going to get. And it's the 80-20 or maybe the 90-10 rule, that 90% of the transactions is going to go to 10% of the agents in the marketplace. And I think that's going to ring true in the next couple of years. And for buyers and sellers, I think we're in a normalizing market where I've been seeing it for the past year. More properties are coming to the market than are going under contract. And so there is still a strong demand, more for finished product than for pre-construction. But some of that finished construction demand is shifting to the pre-construction. And some of that pre-construction over the next couple of years is going to be finished product. So I believe that we're going to have the demand be satisfied by the market, and the prices will continue to be normalized and still appreciate, but not at, in some cases, we had communities where they doubled in a year, 2 years. I don't think that's going to happen unless there's a real unicorn out there, the peripheral, like little niche markets. There's always going to be niche markets in a bigger market. And I think that we could still see that. That's why it's really important to work with a real estate agent or a real estate agency that has their finger on the pulse to know where the market is shifting, what are the niches, where are the opportunities, where are the pitfalls, where are the potential mistakes that myself as a seller or a buyer, I need to be aware of to avoid. Okay.
So I wanted to ask you, we have 78 plus agents in our company, and there's over 1,000 agents registered on the MLS. As there's experience, unexperienced people that are just starting, how important it is for the experience, the inexperienced, the continuous learning and the business development, and what resources would you recommend for them to continue with this learning process? Okay.
First question is, because you asked a couple of questions.
So how important is it for a real estate agent, experienced, not experienced, to be in this learning path, the continuous learning, and what resources do you recommend to obtain these knowledge?
So the first one, how important, no matter what your experience level, is it to continually be learning? It is the most important thing, because I've seen in my real estate career here, very, very successful agents that didn't continue to learn, that rested on their laurels and their past successes, and they're obsolete. They're like the AM, FM radio, the cassette, the CD, the DVD, right, of the technology world. In real estate, it's the same thing. It's if you do not evolve and continue to learn, you will be left behind. And now it's AI. So artificial intelligence, how does it relate to the real estate world? You know, all of it's a mad race. It's like 2000 and the internet. And it's exciting for me because I'm always hungry to learn and to adapt. I learn all the time. And I tend to learn actually more from the newer agents than the experienced agents, because the newer agents are learning everything for the first time. And so although 20 years ago when I first got started, the things that might have been challenging to me is not the same framework. So learning what they're going through with some similarities, but with the nuanced differences, I learn a lot from that. And as a new agent, there's tons that you can learn from. And what is as a new or experienced or somewhere in between agent, the biggest recommendation I have is to be surrounded by that culture and that kind of interaction so that you can get that exposure. Because I always remember less than 10 years ago when Ronival was Los Cabos agent, and it was just me and Rocio running the business, her on property management, me on sales. I said to Rocio, and this gets to your second part of the question, what tools and what things. I said to her, I want to hire a real estate coach. And she said, why do you want to hire a real estate coach? You're one of the top sales people in Los Cabos. And I said, I don't know, but there's this guy, Tom Ferry, that I follow on YouTube, and I've been watching his videos for like 3 years. And I think I should actually invest in my career and pay for it. And she said, I trust you. If you want to do it, go ahead and do it. And here we are now in 2023. And we're one of the top teams in his organization of, coaching 8,000 or 7,000 coaching clients around the world. And it's because I wasn't getting what I needed here locally, that I needed to go outside of my circle, right? And so one of the exciting things about that personally, and what I am continually applying to Ronival, is creating an atmosphere where we're always growing as a company so that no one inside the company gets stagnated, right? And they're constantly being challenged by me, by you guys. And it's an iterative process of just continually learning. Not just you teaching, but you learning from those who you teach. So things like, over the years, tools, the CRM system, super important. I wish I had that back in 2007. I didn't get the CRM system until 2018. So luckily, 5 years into it. So we've amassed 155,000 leads in our system, and we're doing tons of communication, so much that we have our call center that are ISAs, inside sales agents, who are aspiring agents to be, have a formal training ground to learn the CRM, learn the principles of real estate, get licensed, and eventually become a sales agent. How many of our agents have done that, and very successfully?
Yeah,
exactly.
So it's just one example of the tools we use. Coaching, I mentioned. Things like technology like BombBomb. BombBomb's video. It's a video communication platform for email and texting. That's super powerful. And I know a lot of our agents and other agents in the community are using that technology. Hey, thanks for being a part of the Nick Fong Podcast. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast to get the latest updates. And if you're watching this on our social channels, please like and share. And if you want to be featured, or you want me to talk on a certain topic, food, activities, culture, real estate in the Baja, drop a comment.
So these tools and resources, can you mention and go deeper? Do we offer these to all of our agents?
Yeah, so what I always start with me first. And so at heart, I'm a real estate sales agent. And so I started there. I can sympathize with what a real estate agent needs and wants, and almost to a fault, right? And so the technology that we have that I mentioned is everything that I needed, right? I needed a CRM that was able to do automated email campaigns, send text messages, log my phone calls, and have the MLS IDX feed of all the listings in the MLS fed into the system. So automated e-alerts can be sent out, and it's capturing all that information on my clients. It tells me what my clients are doing on the website and which ones to contact. It allows me to put to-dos. It has all the categories of, whether they're new into the system, a closed client. It has anniversaries, their birthday, when they closed on the property. So it's the nucleus of my business, right? And I always wanted that because I started with a spreadsheet. and Microsoft Outlook, right? So Microsoft Outlook for my calendar and my email. And then I had a spreadsheet of all my information. And but then it gets as you grow, it's hard to keep that organized. And that's one of the things I mentioned earlier, like what are some of the traits an agent needs? They need to be organized, right? And have all that information readily available. Even at that, with the CRM system, I needed more assistance, like actual hands assisting me. So, 4 years ago, you were my assistant, but before you, I had 2 or 3 other assistants, right? So that was really important to me. And so as a company, I've just expanded that. So what you used to do for me, transaction coordination, marketing, listings, listing coordinator, setting my appointments, opening the office, making sure that if a package arrives, receive it, make reservations at a restaurant. Anything, right? Commissions getting paid. Because that's what I used to do. So I got an assistant and you provided that to me. I just exploded that inside the company because I realized if I'm going to be providing to sales agents a platform by which they could be the most successful sales agent, they can't be doing the accounting. They can't be doing the transaction coordination. They can't be collecting listing documents. And they can't do the advertising to generate leads. They can't follow up on the leads. They can't nurture the leads. And so that's where all the departments came in. That's why we have a call center. That's why we have a media department to handle all the photos for our listings, to create and edit videos. Right, Ivan? He's sitting behind the camera. That's why we have a transaction department, so that they're handling all of our listings and also our pending transactions that are under contract. That's why we have a developments department. So if you're an agent and you make a contact with a developer, there's so many things that go into properly representing and selling a development. That's why I created that department, so that we have a staff of 3 people right now that's all they do, right? And then from a marketing perspective, so much of what we do is marketing. And, when people think of Ronival Real Estate, they think marketing. And they see all of our ads, whether it's a billboard or a YouTube ad, something on Facebook or something in the magazine, newspaper, or on the radio. So we have to have a department to handle that. And better than I, that's a department that's ever evolving and changing. But how many people do we have? 3 or 4 people, right, in that department. Plus, we have an outside agency. Plus, we have another agency to run our ads. So it takes an army to be able to do what we do. And I think that was the big aha moment when 5 years ago, really, that I realized I needed to create this structure in order to have a strong foundation to make real estate agents successful in what I did for the first time back in 2005, 2006, so almost 20 years ago now.
Wow. And it's been very successful.
Yeah. A lot of people wonder, wow, you've grown so much. And it's like, you've just out of nowhere. No, sometimes it's just a matter of you do all the hard work that no one else sees, and they just see the end result at the end. But it's going back to the individual agent too. No one sees you making phone calls. No one sees the 2 to 4 hours of prospecting. Maybe they see you showing properties. Maybe they see that Instagram post of you selling a property or in your new car or showing a $5 million house. But that's the glamour. There's so much more, 90% that's just super hard.
Behind the scenes.
Right. And that's, I think, what that realization, that reality is becoming more and more apparent to all agents in this market. Yes. So it's like our job every day is just to show agents, it isn't easy. It's hard work, and you don't get paid unless a deal closes. Not when you sell it. Yeah, selling is part of the process, but you have 60 to 90 days to make sure it closes.
Yeah, and those waiting days are terrible.
They're
Right.
terrible,
And I mean, you know what it was like, Sergio, because tell everyone, I'm going to flip. Where did you start from? You didn't start in real estate.
No, I was in the hotel industry for more than 20 years. And when the pandemic hit everyone globally, I was out of a job, and you opened the door of Ronival to me. And I started as a real estate agent. And my wife says, I've never seen you work as hard as when you were an agent. And it's like you say, you see the post on Instagram, closing or a deal, but really you gotta drive all day, call clients, and the frustration of, I'm not closing this deal. And yeah, it's really hard. And so when you offered me the position as an operations manager first, I said, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, if it's not to discourage agents or wannabe agents, but you need to be realistic, right? And it's a lot of work, and you don't get a steady paycheck. And so you can make infinite money, but it's also infinite work.
Exactly.
And I mean, you have mentioned a lot of the benefits, unique benefits, I will say, and support that the company is giving to the agents to make this work easier. And also, I want to add the training that we are giving to all our staff.
Well,
it's
that's
not
what
for
last
the
year
agents.
we sat down and we said, there's people that want to do what we do, but we just can't hire them, right? So we actually put a lot of time, money, and energy to develop Ronival University. That's a huge tool for even experienced agents to go through. And it's never perfect. And that's why I was saying it's constantly iterating, it's constantly changing, but it is a great base that we've heard great comments from our agents that have gone through it. We have the bachelor's, master's, and PhD. We just released the PhD.
PhD will be released in the next few days.
Yeah.
We got the quizzes done, and we're almost there.
Yeah. But then, then you realize, oh man, we need a learning and development manager, coordinator. So we just a month ago hired that person, right? And so it's super important. So it's crazy. It's crazy the efforts that have to go into and the oversight. So as much as people say, how do I do it? It's like, I look at you two and everyone else in the company, I'm like, how do you guys do it? Because you're the one supporting us, right? To me and Rocio. So
We have an amazing team.
Definitely.
Okay, no, us.
How many questions did we get through?
Well, I have an important one.
Yeah.
So after all these that you are mentioning, all these things that the agents need to do to be successful, how can the agents balance their personal lives with their career, not feeling overwhelmed?
Yeah, it's hard. And I wonder if I'm the best qualified person, to be honest. This is one of these things that's always a work in progress. I mean, the last few years have been super tough. And even me personally, from a health perspective, last year I went through a health scare. It really caused me to kind of slow down and evaluate things. And it's so easy to fall back into the old routines. But for me, and you listen to people that are more experienced than me or others, it's having a daily routine and to really schedule the time to have personal time, the non-negotiables, whether it's for your own personal health and mental sanity in the morning or in the evening, but then also with your family, right? And so I've been much better in terms of not touching my phone, deleting certain applications on my phone so I don't go to it. To me, that's been my own kind of challenge. And I know for many of us, it's a challenge. Yeah. Creating boundaries, not just for our clients, but also our coworkers. So, most of the things do not need an answer at 10 at night. So I'm trying better not to send you guys the messages.
You're doing amazing.
Yeah,
I am a witness.
Yeah, because normally I would send, it didn't matter.
We were sending emails at 1 a.m.
1 a.m.,
sometimes.
2 a.m.
Yeah.
And then I go to sleep for a couple hours and I wake up at 5 and I'm sending more messages. And I think one of the things when we were in the pandemic being, locked in our houses, what else were we going to do? And so I worried a lot. I stressed out a lot. Like, how are we going to, because we were already a good sized company with a lot of expenses. And I was like, well, I just need to work. That's all I know. Just work, and I'll work out of it. But then when things start opening up and it starts paying off, then you start getting into a tricky thing. Like, did all this pay off? Was it a result of all this, the way I worked before? And then, so it's a constant struggle internally in your mind. But what I do know now is if you don't have a schedule, if you don't set boundaries, you're going to be so imbalanced that it's going to affect your health. It's going to affect your mental well-being, and you're no good for anyone.
Yeah, totally.
So I think we've gone through almost every question, our unique proposition for our agents, but what sets us apart from other companies? What makes us unique?
I think what makes Ronival Real Estate unique for real estate agents is we appeal to all kinds of agents, both inexperienced, no experience, mild experience, and ultra experience. I think about the agents like Cindy Williams, who used to own her own brokerage here locally. And she approached us a year and a half ago, I think, 2 years ago. And even running her own brokerage very successfully, making a lot of money. It's not always about the money. Right? It's about having quality of life. It's about being able to do the things that you want to do. And because running a business is a pain in the butt, right? Accounting, taxes, personnel, paying rent. And most agents just want to sell. They want to interact with buyers, and if you're Cindy, with sellers, right? And so that's really cool to me. That wasn't originally by design, but it kind of evolved where we have appealed to the real experienced agents, right? And ones that even have owned their own companies, and being a place to come to. And then a lot of our agents in the company are mildly experienced. So we just were talking to Enzo, right? Mm-hmm. Enzo was with another brokerage and he was selling real estate. And what he just said before the podcast, he said, if I knew a CRM, where I came from in my business before real estate, I had a CRM. I didn't have a CRM in my other company, my other brokerage. And this thing is amazing. Like, I am so much more powerful as an agent. I'm just going to, he's like, I have 2 showings, 2 clients coming in town next month. And he was meeting with you both because of a commission, because of a deal he closed, right? And then I think about Terry Stevens, who has been selling real estate maybe longer than we've been alive, or very close to it. Terry's in her 70s. Yeah. She also owned her own brokerage back in California. And I don't think she ever used a CRM. And she's one of the most avid CRM users now. And she just sold like $3.5 million of real estate in the past month. And that's phenomenal that we could be a platform by which both the most experienced, middle experienced, and then I take someone that's now experienced, but Sol Gutierrez, who started with us as an ISA. An ISA has no real estate experience, never sold one house. 3 years ago, that was her. And now she is one of our top salespersons. And I was just talking to her yesterday, and she's negotiating a close to $4 million deal. Wow. And that is not the most expensive house she's negotiated. Yeah. And she is a product of the training and the systems, the coaching. She's very coachable, right? She's very humble. She's very open to change. Not that it's easy. It's very, very difficult. But that's someone that started as a new no experienced agent. And we have a couple of those right now in the company. I just met with, yesterday, Berenice. She was an agent for, I think she said 2 years or a year and a half with another brokerage. And she came to us to be an ISA, which is before an agent. To do that for 3-4 months so that she can learn the CRM and the proper way of doing things. And now she's equipped to sell real estate. And what she realizes is, wow, like I have so much information and I have so many directions I can go. Now what? What do I do? So that's why we sat down yesterday and I kind of helped map out for her some directions for us to go. And that's what's super exciting, is that we have a place for all types of agents. And even agents that, people that are agents that don't want to be agents anymore. So you're a perfect example. You know, you started as an agent and then there was an opportunity to be a manager, now a director in the company, and you made that transition, right? And so I think that's what's great and exciting about Ronival, is that when you have size and scope, you know, you're across state, you have several offices, and you have so many departments that there's potentially a fit for you somewhere, some way, not just now, but into the future.
Yes, definitely.
Well,
I think those were all the questions.
Okay.
Do you have something unscripted, Paty?
No,
that
no,
you
no,
want to ask?
no.
And just so you know, I did not prepare for these answers. These were just questions. You did send me the questions beforehand, but I literally did not prepare any of the answers. But these are common things that for me, building the company and continually growing it, these are questions I ask myself every day, because it's the questions that we ask ourselves that are going to show us where we go into the future, right? If we don't ask ourselves these tough questions, we're not challenging ourselves. We're not challenging ourselves, then we're not growing. The worst thing you can do is be comfortable.
That is correct.
Well, we are not right now. So we are doing a good job.
All right. Well, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Nick. It was amazing.
All right. Until the next one. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Nick Fong Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast and the YouTube channel at youtube.com/Ronival Real Estate, and follow Nick on Instagram at NickFong_Ronival. Ready to find your Baja dream home? Check out the latest property listings at Ronival.com or findmexicohouses.com. Hasta luego.